had.
You did?
How many times did you shoot?
3.
Zawaza tells me he's sleeping, and I know there's on his vest. I start screaming, me in the face to cover my mouth.
Do you know how hard it is for us?
Stella Davis was a 23-year-old mother from Macomb County, Michigan. Friends described her as kind, hardworking, and completely devoted to her son, Elliot. She had endured a painful marriage filled with tension and fear. After trying for years to make it work, she finally filed for divorce from her husband, Sidney Emmanuel Davis Jr. The two had been living apart, and Stella had already told police several times that she didn't feel safe around him. On September 21, 2025, Stella agreed to meet Sidney at a Meyer gas station in Shelby Township for what was supposed to be a safe custody exchange. Sidney wanted to see his son, and even though she was afraid, Stella went because she never wanted to keep Elliot away from his father. But what was meant to be a peaceful meeting ended in tragedy. Police say Sidney attacked Stella during the exchange, stabbing her in front of their son. Witnesses rushed to help and called 911. Paramedics arrived quickly, but Stella's injuries were too severe. She did not survive. Her brother, Saif Mahmoud, was heartbroken. He said his sister had done everything right. She sought help, filed for divorce, and only wanted to protect her little boy.
Didn't feel safe around him, and in this terrible incident, she just thought that he wanted to see his son, and her loving her son very much, she did not want to keep him away from the father. She always thought about her son over herself, and it led to this horrible incident. Her last social media post was, "I will flip this world upside down for my son, remember that," and that was the last thing that she's ever posted on social media, so that should tell you exactly how much she adores and loves her son.
In the days that followed, Stella's friends and co-workers gathered at the Great Baraboo Brewing Company, where she had worked. They remembered her as a strong young woman who had grown up in foster care and fought hard to build a better life for herself and her son.
Think about Elliot every second of the day, how he's never going to see her again, and how that breaks me, that someone could do this.
The only thing that she'd be telling us right now is, you make sure my baby's safe. And that's the only thing that we want to do is take care of him, because she can't anymore. Yeah, I mean, it sucks. It sucks really bad, because, you know, all we want is for her to be here, and it shouldn't have been her.
She has a village behind her, that's for sure. This village definitely helped her, because it does take a village to raise a kid, especially as a single mom. She did get a divorce, and it was getting finalized. It was just, some people can't handle rejection.
Sidney Davis was arrested soon after in Armada Township. He was charged with first-degree murder, and the judge denied him bond. Elliot is now in the custody of the paternal grandmother, and the family is focused on helping him rebuild his life as they grieve Stella's loss. In September 2025, police in Albany, New York began what they thought was a simple fraud investigation. They had discovered that an elderly couple were still receiving Social Security payments, even though no one had seen them in years. When officers went to the couple's home, they made a horrifying discovery. 2 bodies were buried in the backyard. Their son, 53-year-old Lorenz Krause, became the prime suspect. The next day, he contacted the news channel and asked to speak publicly. Within hours, he sat across for an interview that shocked viewers across the nation. Lorenz had not only confessed to his parents, he did so on live television. In a chilling interview, he calmly admitted to taking both their lives 8 years ago. He claimed that he had done it out of what he called mercy. He said his parents were old, suffering, and that he believed he was sparing them pain. He spoke without emotion, describing the as acts of peace, and said he believed he had done the right thing. When the interview ended, officers were already waiting outside. As Krause stepped out of the studio, police arrested him in the parking lot. In court, Krause remained just as composed. He showed no remorse. He seemed entirely at peace with what he had done.
Krause, I note your appearance here today in open court and on the record. Being charged today with murder in the 2nd degree, 2 counts, death, that you concealed their corpses. Those 4 accusatory instruments, Krause and Teresa Krause.
He was charged with 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of concealing a human corpse. Despite his televised confession, Krause later pleaded not guilty to all charges. Krause did not speak and was ordered to be held without bail. It was the evening of July 28, 2016, when San Diego police officer Jonathan J.D. de Guzman and his partner, Officer Wade Irwin, were on patrol as part of the gang suppression team. They were working in Shelltown, a neighborhood they routinely monitored. During a brief interaction with Jesse Michael Gomez, the situation suddenly escalated and shots were fired. Officer Irwin survived with serious injuries, while Officer de Guzman was rushed to the hospital where he did not make it. Investigators quickly identified Gomez as the person responsible. Prosecutors said the attack was deliberate and that the officers were targeted simply for wearing the badge. Gomez was eventually charged with the first-degree murder of Officer de Guzman and the attempted murder of Officer Irwin. Years later, in September 2021, a jury found Gomez guilty on all major counts. During the sentencing phase, the courtroom heard from Officer de Guzman's wife. She shared what their life was like before tragedy, a home full of simple dreams, movie nights, and talks about the future.
July 28, 2016. I can still clearly remember the 3 kisses I gave my husband before I went to work that morning. At 1:30 p.m., I got a call from him saying, "On my way to work, hon." Then another call from him at 5:30 p.m. asking me how his work. It was just another normal day for us. And that evening, I called him and said, "Hon, I'm on my way home. I love you." He replied, "I love you too, hon. I will be home soon." That was 9:48 p.m. Our final conversation, and that's the last time I heard his voice. It has been 5 years since that evening, but I can still hear those last words. "I love you too. I will be home soon." But he did not go home. Jonathan is my partner, my best friend. He is romantic, dependable, and very supportive. As a father, his family is more important than anything else. We have simple dreams. We promise to go home together, take care of our kids, grandkids, and travel to different parts of the world. He connects and talks to our children all the time. Every week, John has to make sure that he has a special day together with our daughter, Amira. They have weekly father and daughter date, eating out, watching movies, running around the neighborhood, or just a quick trip to the gas station for some candies. She's daddy's little girl and always tells him that she loves him as big as the universe. That's what my daughter always told my husband. My son Jed would always stay late to be with his dad. They would work out together and talk about Jed's for college and his trip. And we made that happen. You took away the life of my husband, my best friend, and the father of our children. My children and I are forever scared because of your selfish thought. I could not hug, kiss, or even talk to him anymore. He is not here to work out with my son Chad anymore. He is not here to take our daughter Amira to their bonding moments. She didn't even get to celebrate her 11th birthday with him, but instead, she was at her dad's funeral a week before that day. He is not here to kiss them goodnight after he comes from work. It is continues to be a hard battle for our children and me. In addition, trying to cope not having John was having been struggled mentally and emotionally. I do not have the answer for them why it happened. But I have to remain strong because I promised John on his deathbed that I would take care of my kids. smile in front of my kids to let them know that we need to remain strong. But deep inside me, I wonder how we could do it. And it really hurts. It is so hard to see Jed waiting for his dad to come home every night when I know that would not happen. However, I did the same thing too, thinking that maybe, just maybe, I will see the door opens and he would be there. Amira even asked me recently what I think was her dad's gift for her 11th birthday. So I just reminded her that John always loves to surprise us all the time. I thought to myself, the greatest gift would have been being there for her birthday. That would be meant to be brought to her. Months after John's death, Mia told me she's battling her feelings and she's trying to control herself to show that she is fine because she sees how I am struggling and does not want to add more to what I am going through. Countless times, I had to hide my tears from them. I sometimes feel so weak and helpless, but I always remember what Jen told me during the viewing time. Mom, I need you to be stronger for me and Mia because I can't do this. It stucks on my head all the time. As I think of the future, it has and would not be the same without my husband. My son graduated from high school and recently from a university. But the emptiness is there. He was not able to tell his dad how those times they spent together talking about his dream has paid off. Seeing my daughter grow up without her dad is something I wish she did not have to go through. From learning how to drive, graduating high school, and then college, celebrating birthdays, but most especially that special bond between a father and a daughter. Those are things I know that would much better if my husband is still around, who would walk her down to the aisle when it's time for her to get married. I hope you realize that your action has done and what more it could do. Not only for me, but also for the welfare of my children. I do not understand how could you just take someone's life without thinking about his or her family, when you yourself is a father too. I really tried hard to find a place in my heart to forgive you. But when you took the stand and did not show any remorse, while clearly showing that you know what you have done, I would find it hard to forgive you. I hope that they give you the punishment you deserve. Can I add something still? I heard about the trauma that you're talking about. You're thinking about the trauma of his family. How about my trauma, my kid's trauma? Do you know how hard it is for us?
In March 2022, the court delivered the final sentence, death. The judge agreed with the jury's recommendation, concluding a case that had been unfolding for nearly 6 years. Though justice has been served in the legal sense, the impact remains. Officer de Guzman is remembered as a devoted father, a loving husband, and a respected protector of his community. A life of service that ended far too soon, but a legacy that continues to live on. Before Teresa Halbach's name ever made headlines, Stephen Avery was already a man who'd lived through a nightmare. In 1985, Avery was convicted of assault and attempted murder, crimes he didn't commit. He spent 18 years in prison until DNA evidence proved his innocence. In 2003, he walked free. To many, he was the face of redemption, the man who beat a broken system. But just 2 years later, history would repeat itself, this time with a deadly twist. Teresa Halbach was a 25-year-old photographer from Calumet County, Wisconsin, who worked for Auto Trader magazine. Her job involved photographing vehicles for sale, often at clients' homes. On October 31st, 2005, Teresa had several appointments scheduled. One of them was at Stephen Avery's property, located on the Avery family's salvage yard in Manitowoc County. That evening, Teresa took photos of a minivan that Avery's sister had listed for sale. It was the last known stop she made before disappearing. Her phone stopped answering. Her family reported her missing on November 3rd, 2005. Search teams began scouring the countryside until one volunteer made a shocking discovery. On November 5th, Teresa's Toyota RAV4 was found hidden under branches and debris inside the Avery family's salvage yard. Soon after, investigators discovered burned remains and personal belongings near Stephen Avery's trailer. Forensic testing confirmed the remains belonged to Teresa Halbach, and just like that, the story turned from a missing person case into a murder investigation. Within days, Stephen Avery was arrested. He was accused of murder once again, but not just murder. This time, he faced charges of first-degree intentional homicide, mutilation of a corpse, and illegal possession of a firearm. Months after Avery's arrest, investigators turned their attention to Avery's nephew, Brendan Dassey. It was becoming increasingly clear that Brendan Dassey's current lawyers, Stephen Drizzen and Laura Ryder from Northwestern Law School's Center on Wrongful Convictions of Youth, explained that Brendan became a main focus of the investigation a few months after Teresa Halbach's death. By then, Stephen Avery was already in jail, but had never shown to Stephen Avery's jury. He was also never called to testify during his uncle's trial. Instead, investigators used his own recorded statements against him in his separate case, even though his lawyers said there was no physical evidence linking him to the crime at all.
How many times did you shoot?
3.
Brendan's lawyers are still fighting for him. They are trying to get him a new trial, and his appeal is now in front of a federal judge in Wisconsin. Avery's trial began in February 2007 in Calumet County. Prosecutors argued that Avery lured Halbach to his property, killed her, and tried to destroy the evidence by burning her body. The defense, led by Dean Strang and Jerry Booting, countered that Avery was framed by law enforcement, particularly Manitowoc County officers, to discredit his pending civil lawsuit over his earlier wrongful conviction. Despite the defense's argument of police misconduct and planted evidence, Avery was found guilty on March 18, 2007 of first-degree intentional homicide and possession of a firearm by a felon. He was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. Dassey was tried separately. His confession played a central role in the prosecution's case. In April 2007, he was also convicted of first-degree intentional homicide, sexual assault, and mutilation of a corpse, and sentenced to life in prison with the possibility of parole after 40 years. At his sentencing, Stephen Avery stood before the judge, acknowledging the immense pain endured by Teresa Halbach's family. He also reflected on how the case had weighed heavily on his own loved ones and everyone around him.
Well, Your Honor, I'm sorry for Halbach's family, Teresa Halbach's family, what they're going through, the pain, the hate they got. There's nothing else going to bring her back, you know. And my family, what they're going through, and everybody's friends and the community, you know, it's hurting everybody. And for myself, Teresa Halbach, I didn't kill. I am innocent with all of this. And I figure later on, I'll prove myself innocent. I'll take it from there. That's all I got. Thank you.
Nearly a decade later, the case resurfaced, not in court, but on screens around the world. In 2015, Netflix released Making a Murderer, a 10-part documentary exposing every twist, every doubt, and every accusation of corruption. The series sparked an international uproar. Some saw Avery and Dassey as victims of a corrupt system, while others viewed them as guilty men whose crimes were conclusively proven. Petitions flooded the internet demanding retrials. Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey became household names. Not two jurors from Avery's 2007 case came forward, revealing troubling details about what happened behind closed doors. One of them, Richard Maher, who sat through 6 weeks of testimony and evidence, revealed something that raised new questions about the fairness of the trial.
I would have voted not guilty. That sounds about right with what was happening on the jury before we wrapped it up for the first day. Into the jury room, the father of the Manitowoc County Sheriff deputy sat there with his arms folded and said he's guilty as all hell.
They believe that Stephen was framed by law enforcement.
This person feels relieved that they got it off their chest, and I talked to this person and they're scared.
Maher wasn't alone. Another juror later told the filmmakers of Making a Murderer that Avery deserved a new trial outside Wisconsin.
This person feels relieved that they got it off their chest, and I talked to this person and they're scared.
Their accounts added even more fuel to an already heated national conversation. By then, hundreds of thousands of people had signed online petitions urging President Obama to pardon Stephen Avery. Following the documentary's success, Kathleen Zellner, a prominent wrongful conviction attorney, took over Avery's appeal. She promised to uncover the truth by re-examining every piece of evidence and suggesting the real killer was still out there.
So procedurally, what's going on is the motion that's filed today will stay the appeal that's pending in the Wisconsin Appellate Court. That appeal was filed pro se by Mr. Avery. And does not involve the issues that we want to raise, the new issues we want to raise with it.
Stephen Avery's cousin, Kim Ducat, also spoke publicly after his arrest, sharing her thoughts with reporters outside the Avery property.
I am so excited about what just happened, to actually hear the words come out of Zellner's mouth personally that he's innocent, and all these testings that are going to get done. It's unbelievable. I had no idea that, other countries are going to help do this testing, which is awesome because sometimes they're more advanced than we are.
So, do you think that the only reason this is happening is because of this Netflix series?
I think it helped, yeah. It opened up people's minds, got to see the inside of what really happened. There's a lot of talk about it was one-sided, it was, staged, it was a movie. I was in the series. There was no script. Nobody got paid to do this. They filmed it as it was happening, as it unfolded. So the other side had opportunity to be in it, and they refused. So that's on them.
What if its test results come back and they kind of confirm what was found at trial?
I don't foresee that happening. Why would somebody guilty want these test results done, like she said? If he's innocent, he's going to push for these tests, and that's exactly what he's doing. He will fight to the end with his innocence, and this is going to prove it, these tests. I am that confident. I will stand behind Stephen 110% to the end.
In 2025, Zellner announced a $100,000 reward for anyone who could provide information leading to the arrest of the real killer. The reward was funded by a private citizen.
Yes, we all know Avery was the subject of a popular Netflix documentary on his murder conviction in the murder of Halbach, a photographer in northeastern Wisconsin. Kathleen Zellner, Avery's attorney who specializes in wrongful conviction cases, tweeted a news release this morning announcing the $100,000 reward for the arrest and conviction of what she calls the real killer of Teresa Halbach. Avery and his nephew, Brendan Dassey, were convicted in the 2005 killing of Halbach. Avery and Dassey are serving life sentences. They were both central figures in the 2015 documentary Netflix series Making a Murderer that garnered national attention. Halbach's remains were found in the Avery family's Manitowoc County salvage yard. Avery insists police framed him. Dassey has argued detectives coerced him into confessing that he helped Avery and kill Halbach. Zellner said the reward is being offered by a concerned citizen. In the release, Zellner said tips can be called in. That number is 630-847-3733.
Then came a shocking twist in the infamous Making a Murderer case when a Wisconsin inmate reportedly confessed to killing Teresa Halbach. According to a report published by Newsweek, the confession came from another convicted murderer currently serving time in Wisconsin. The magazine stated that the inmate provided a handwritten note detailing how he struck Halbach with his car and attempted to cover up the crime. The inmate, identified as Joseph Evans, also claimed he wanted to claim the reward recently announced by Avery's defense attorney, Kathleen Zellner. Evans even demanded $350,000 for his information, which is $200,000 more than the reward that was being offered. But Zellner wasn't convinced. She quickly dismissed the confession as worthless unless corroborated, posting screenshots of the letter on Twitter and responding with laughing emojis to the claims. The Wisconsin Department of Justice also confirmed that while it takes credible reports seriously, this statement directly contradicted Evans' earlier testimony.
Stephen Avery and his nephew Brendan Dassey are behind bars for the 2005 murder of the 25-year-old photographer. The popular Netflix series Making a Murderer followed their appeals process, both of them claiming to be innocent. The director of Convicting a Murderer, the sequel, told Newsweek his film crew was given a confession by a, quote, notable convicted murderer from Wisconsin. But Avery's attorney doesn't think it's credible, posting the pages on Twitter. Joseph Evans of Boscobel claims he hit Halbach with his car. Then when he panicked, he took Avery's and shot her, then used an old Band-Aid of Avery's he found to put his blood on the car. He also wants $350,000 for his information, $200,000 more than the reward being offered. The Wisconsin Department of Justice tells us it takes all credible reports seriously, but this new information directly contradicts information previously provided by that same individual. Using laughing emojis on Twitter, it doesn't seem like Avery's attorney is too convinced that Joseph Evans is the killer.
After the release of Making a Murderer, a lot of attention turned to 78-year-old Dolores Avery, the mother of Stephen Avery. She was seen as one of the saddest and most emotional people in the entire documentary. Dolores spoke about her hope that her son would one day be released. As she talked about it, her voice shook with emotion, showing how deeply she believed in his innocence and how much pain she was carrying.
I'm sticking by Stephen. I picked this house out for Stephen when he gets out, so he's got somewhere to live. Looks like a pretty nice house. It's got fruit trees in there. I hope his life is gone when he spent half of it in the prisons for something he don't even do.
For Teresa Halbach's family, each new development has been a wound reopened. Her loved ones have often said that while they understand the realities of the case, they continue to pray for peace and closure.
Throughout this whole process, and as we continue to learn more, it's going to get harder and harder. They haven't found her body, and we don't know if she's still alive or not. Well, it definitely concerns us that they are finding more human evidence. None of them have been cleared as suspects. Until they are, I don't really have much to say about them. Hopefully, if he is involved, he will cooperate with authorities. We understand the realities of the situation. We understand all the possible outcomes that may have occurred. But we're going to continue to pray and hope for the best. We realize that we will see Teresa again, whether it's here on earth or up in heaven.
Oh, we need closure. It's going to be easier for the family to sleep at night, at least to know where she is. My thoughts are mainly in prayer, just hoping that the family holds up and that Teresa's found.
Nearly 2 decades later, Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey remain behind bars, both maintaining their innocence. Kathleen Zellner continues to file appeals, claiming new forensic evidence could one day clear Avery's name. In the peaceful neighborhood of Rochester Hills, Michigan, lived Hussein Sam Murray and his wife, Linda Murray. They had been married for over 54 years. Sam was known in his community as a hard-working man who owned a pawn shop and jewelry store. After decades of hard work, they had finally settled into a peaceful life surrounded by children and grandchildren. But in October 2024, that peace was shattered by a crime that began with a knock at their door.
Hear that this story doesn't start off with once upon a time, because it doesn't have a fairy tale ending, and it doesn't have a happily ever after.
The prosecutor told the jury that on that night, 2 men, Carlos Jose Hernandez and Joshua Zuaso, arrived at the Murray's home around 10 p.m. They were posing as DTE energy workers investigating a gas leak in the neighborhood. But behind the uniforms and fake signs was something far darker.
And it doesn't have a happily ever after. And that's because on October 10th of 2024, the defendant and his co-defendant Joshua Zuaso knocked on their door. They knocked on their door at 10 p.m. Sam went to the door, opens the door. The defendant and his co-defendant are posing as DT workers. They start trying to get into the house. The defendant, Hernandez, is doing the talking. He's also the closest one to the door. Zuaso is behind him. And you'll see this because it's captured on Ring camera. And he's saying, we're in the neighborhood, there's a gas leak. And Linda is at the top of the stairs because she was in the bedroom, and she's looking down, and she says she can see them at the door frame. And she can also see them because the Ring camera bounces to her phone, so she can also see what's going on through the Ring camera. And she yells down to her husband, "It's kind of late for a gas meter check." And they start still trying to get in with Hernandez, trying to get in. They have to check to see if you have a gas leak inside. And Linda is suspicious, and she yells down, "Sam, do you have your gun?" Because Sam was known to carry his gun on his right hip. He would carry a Glock, part of the business of pawn shop owning down in Hamtramck, part of the business of jewelry store owning. It can be dangerous. He was armed. Sam isn't going to let him in the house at 10 o'clock. So he tells him, "You're not coming in." At that point, Hernandez says, "Well, we'll come back tomorrow." So the door is shut. The defendant and his co-defendant leave.
According to the prosecutor, the men's visit that night was no coincidence. It had been planned long before.
This was not an accident. It was not coincidence that they showed up at his house. This was targeted, and this was very well planned. And you'll hear through the witnesses that way before October 10th, defendant Hernandez had been putting this in the works. You're going to hear that a year earlier, that in fact, we have the receipts as the investigation progressed, that in fact Hernandez had been to that jewelry and pawn shop, that he had pawned items at that store. We have those receipts. We also will show that he came back in February of 2024 to pick up his items. And you'll also hear how he specifically asked to meet with the owner when he was there to pick up his items that last time. And in fact, one of the witnesses was there when he was introduced to Sam, the owner, face to face. It's a business where people carry cash. It's a people may keep things of value at the house.
The prosecutor stated that the suspects went to great lengths to make their disguise believable. They ordered fake DTE utility signs from Detroit sign maker Gerardo Saucedo, who recognized Carlos Hernandez as a former customer. After learning about the case, Saucedo voluntarily contacted police to clarify that he only created the signs and had no involvement in the crime.
Would it be possible for you to do more like this? Do you want that in work, and then that, just the basic ones? Yeah, we because they want a lot for them, and it's easier to get.
And sir, do you recall what he was showing you on your phone at that time?
It was the DTF. 'Cause I was looking at his phone right now. It looked like impact font DTF letters.
DTF or?
I mean, what?
Would it be DTE?
DTE. Thank you.
And that was just the customer showing you
the artwork, what he wanted.
Yeah, I got this one, and I got that one. Just basically the blue on there. All right, man, I appreciate you. All right, sir. Good to see you again. As soon as you're ready to go here, we'll do. Tell you Monday that I'll make that order off. All right, thank you, sir. All right, have a good weekend.
And sir, that person that came to your store on October 4th, 2024, and have you made DTE signs for him, is that person in the courtroom today?
Yes.
And can you please identify by something he's wearing?
I'm sorry?
Can you identify him by something that he's wearing?
A blue shirt.
Now that the record reflects the court ID's been made to Mr. Hernandez.
The record reflects the witness has identified defendant Hernandez.
And sir, did you make those products that Mr. Hernandez used?
Yes, I did.
Okay. And I saw in the video that did you take Mr. Hernandez's phone number? And lastly, what is this text message of?
I'm showing him a sample. His order's ready to be picked up.
And that was a final product that you were making for Mr. Hernandez?
Correct.
Okay. And just based on based on this final communications you have with him, does Mr. Hernandez come back in that store and pick up the items that he had you make?
Yes, it was him, I think.
Okay. And on that day he goes to pick up, was your store still outfitted with cameras?
Yes.
Okay. And sir, can you tell me, would that be an accurate time and date stamp for this picking up of the signs?
Yes, I would think so.
And what date is that?
October 9th, 2024.
Thank you.
Sounds great, thank you, all right? Good, I'll show you. Now, let me tell you the trick about these. When you install them on your truck, now when I cut these, I cut them around the corner for 2 reasons. That when you're driving the freeway, blah, blah, the wind won't get up underneath there, and not come off, you know, okay? But when you wash your truck, obviously make sure you clean these off real good, and make sure there's nothing, not even a couple of dust or anything. That little fucking couple of dust will cause a little fucking nipple, and that'll go out there, you see it in there, blow it off. Okay, so there goes your back one, and 2 side ones. All right, thank you, sir. Well, I'll set these something else, keep this in mind. I absolutely will. All right, take care, man. Have a good one.
The men didn't place the fake signs on their own car. Instead, they used a stolen white Ford F-250 pickup truck belonging to Thomas Keeling. The prosecutor explained that the suspects did not place the fake DTE signs on their own vehicle. Instead, they used a stolen white Ford F-250 pickup truck belonging to Thomas Keeling.
And did you wake up on September 30th?
Yes, I woke up at September 30th at about 5 o'clock in the morning.
And did you go out to your truck?
Yes.
And did you find your truck?
No, it was gone.
Did you call the Dearborn Heights Police Department?
Yes.
Did you report it as stolen?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as People's Exhibit number Q. If I could approach, Judge. We're going to avoid the teleprompter. Do you recognize that license plate?
Yes.
POCO 32, is that the plate that was on your vehicle?
Yes.
And that was a company plate?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as People's Exhibit number 15A. Do you recognize that vehicle on fire?
Yeah, I recognize the vehicle. Yeah.
I'm going to ask you if you could look at the 2 individuals, and I'll move the podium out of the way, starting with the defendant over on the far side of the courtroom. Have you ever seen him before?
No.
You don't know him?
No.
Not a friend of yours?
No.
The second defendant, who's closer to me, have you ever seen him before?
No.
Don't know him?
No.
No contact before. I don't have any other questions, Judge.
The following morning, those same 2 men returned to the Murray's home. They again claimed to be utility workers. This time, Sam allowed them inside to check for a supposed gas leak, while Linda watched from upstairs and instantly recognized them from the night before. One of the men said he needed to get something from the truck, and Sam led the other downstairs to the basement. That was the last time Linda saw her husband alive. After a while, Linda grew worried when she heard nothing. Soon, Hernandez came upstairs and demanded money and jewelry. She told him there was no safe, only about $200 in her purse and some custom jewelry stored in a deposit box. Her voice shook as she recounted that morning, describing the horrible things she faced and the pain that still follows her.
Zuazo tells me that he's sleeping, and I notice on his vest, and I start screaming. And Hernandez hits me in the face to cover my mouth. Hernandez wants to put me in the closet, but because I was bound, I couldn't move. Hernandez is binding my hands and my ankles together.
Okay. And
duct tape.
And is that against your will?
Yes.
What you see is Sam is on the ground. It's a horrible scene, brutal scene, very bloody scene.
Linda eventually freed herself from the bindings and called 911. When deputies arrived, they discovered that Sam had been killed in the basement. The medical examiner later confirmed that his death was caused by neck compression, pointing to a deliberate act. After the murder, Hernandez drove the stolen truck to Detroit, set it on fire to cover his tracks. Investigator Martez Dixon from Detroit Fire Department testified that he responded to the scene of the truck fire linked to the defendant's case.
So you got called to that scene that day, and you were able to determine through your investigation that the fire initiated or originated, rather, in the passenger compartment of the vehicle. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
How were you able to do that?
Through the fire patterns, through the fire effects.
And the fire patterns, were you able to determine a source of what ignited the fire?
No, sir.
And when the fire, you talked about the fire pattern, that means the direction in which the fire goes, correct?
Yes, sir.
In your direct testimony, you said something about in the back part of the truck, meaning the bed of the truck, there was fire damage there, correct?
Yes, it was fire damage in the bed of the truck, but it originated in the passenger compartment and extended towards the bed of the truck. Yes, sir.
Did it engage with the engine of the truck?
Yes, sir.
When you got to the scene, was the fire still ongoing, or was it already extinguished?
It
And when you conducted your investigation, did you do that on the scene there on John R. Street, or did you do it at some place where vehicles are towed by the fire department and investigations are conducted in a garage?
I conducted my investigation right there on the scene.
And the photographs that you took are right there.
Yes, sir.
And then you made a determination that it was originally ignited in the passenger compartment, but you could not tell what was the cause of the ignition. Is that right?
That's correct, sir.
Okay, thank you. I have no further questions.
After the murder, Hernandez fled Michigan with his family, prompting a multi-state manhunt. On October 12, 2024, Lieutenant Detective Casey Jones located and stopped Hernandez's white Jeep along Interstate 49 in Louisiana. Hernandez was behind the wheel, traveling with his wife, child, and pets. During the search, investigators discovered several suspicious items, including belongings of the Murrays and other evidence directly linking him to the Michigan crime scene.
Carlos Hernandez was taken into custody. Was Oakland County notified by your department that he was in custody? Yes. After he was taken into custody, did your department basically process the scene by taking photographs and taking items into property?
Yes.
And was that by search warrant?
Yes.
I'm going to show you what's been, you've had an opportunity to review those before coming in today, the photographs. I'm going to show you what's been marked as People's Exhibit number 3A. Hopefully technology works and it is up there on your screen. Is that correct? Yes. Okay. For reference, Exhibit number 3A is photographed by your department showing the white Jeep front. Is that correct? Yes. Going to Exhibit 3B. That is a photograph from your department showing the passenger side of that white Jeep.
Yes.
Exhibit 3C shows the rear of that Jeep. Is that correct?
Yes.
And that also has the plate that comes back to the Be on the Lookout that your department received.
Yes, sir.
Going to Exhibit 3D, that is the VIN number that is assigned to that vehicle.
It is.
Photograph 3E, is that the Jeep driver's side?
It is.
Showing you 3F, is this a photograph of the Jeep passenger side and glove box?
Yes.
Showing a photograph 3G, is that a close-up of the Jeep glove box?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to show you what's been marked as 3H. Is that the clipboard inside the glove box?
Yes.
Showing you what's been marked as 3I. Is that a photograph of the rear seat of the Jeep?
Yes.
Showing you what's been marked as 3J, which is the Jeep trunk. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Showing you what's been marked as 3K. Is that a pair of black Nikes?
Yes, sir.
Showing you what's been marked as Exhibit 3L. Is that a black Nike on the right side?
Yes.
Showing what's been marked as 3L. Is that a black Nike 3M? Is that showing you the Nike sole of that right side?
Yes.
Showing you what's been marked as 3N as in Nancy. Is that showing you the left black Nike?
This is left
That's still N.
Yes, sir.
The 3N, do we have 3N? Is that the left side of the black Nike?
Yes, sir.
3O, is that showing you the sole of the left shoe of the black Nike?
Yes.
Moving on to 3P, does that photograph show a placard for a DTE sign?
Yes.
Showing you what's 3Q, is that showing a license plate with the identifying POCO 32?
Yes.
Showing you what's been marked as 3R, is that showing you a bucket hat?
Yes, sir.
Showing you what's been marked as 3S, is that showing a white mask?
Yes.
Showing you what's been marked as 3T, is that showing a Home Depot bag?
Yes, sir.
Showing you what's been marked as 3U, is that showing a pair of brown boots?
Yes.
Showing you what's been marked as 3V, is that showing you a black sweat jacket?
Yes.
Showing you what's been marked 3W, is that a white t-shirt?
Yes.
showing you what's been marked as 3X. Is that showing you the interior contents of the vehicle?
Yes.
Showing you what's been marked as 3Y. Is that showing you the roof rack that was attached and some of its contents?
Yes.
Showing you what's been marked as 3Z. Is that a black Nike bag?
Yes, sir.
Showing you what's been marked as 3AA. Is that opening for the contents of the black Nike bag?
Yes.
Showing you what's been marked as 3BB. Is that showing you a chest drawer from inside that Nike bag?
Yes.
Showing you what's been marked as 3CC. Is that showing you the contents of that drawer?
Yes, except for the green Bonita that was on top of the clipboard inside the box.
Thank you. Showing what's been marked as 3DD. Is that showing close-up of the contents?
Yes, sir.
Showing what's been marked as 3EE. Is that showing you another angle of that drawer's contents? Your Honor, at this time, the people would move the exhibits we just discussed, 3A through 3EE, into evidence.
Any objection?
I have no objection, Your Honor.
No, they're all in.
Discussion of photos. I did not turn the page on your photos. There was another set of photos that continued after 3EE. I'm going to show you what's been marked as 3FF. Do you recognize a photograph of that as part of the jewelry contents? And 3GG as a man's white shirt. 3HH. That's a placard from one of your investigators who was involved in processing the scene. 3II, that's the pair of the black Nikes. 3JJ, that's the pair of the brown boots. 3KK, another angle of the brown boots. 3LL, another close-up of the brown boots. 3MM, another angle of the brown boots. 3NN, the size 11 of those brown boots. 300, black Nike close-up. 3PP, bottom of the shoes of the black Nikes, is that correct? 3QQ, black Nike from the side. 3RR, another photograph of the black Nikes. 3SS, black Nike close-up showing size 13. 3TT, a close-up of the clipboard. 3UU, photograph of the Home Flex gas reader. 3VV, hammer. 3WW, two other pairs of men's sneakers. 3XX, one of the pairs of those sneakers, size 13. And 3YY, the other pair of the sneakers, size 13. Is that correct?
Yes.
The people move 3FF through 3YY into evidence.
I have no objection, Your Honor.
No, right there.
And if I could just approach with one of the exhibits that's already been entered. I know Ms. Lofton had discussed a pair of the gloves. And there's a couple places in these reports where items are documented. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
Okay, there's part of it in the typewritten up near the front of the reports. There's the handwritten, and there's also another group of itemization of the items. Is that correct?
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to direct your attention with item 7B. Am I correct that the correct black and brown gloves are noted here in this part of the report?
They are.
And this is the black and brown gloves. Do you recognize that as your department's code on the front with a sticker?
Yes.
After Hernandez was taken into custody, his wife reportedly informed investigators about the whereabouts of the second suspect, Joshua Zuazo. Acting on that information, law enforcement located Zuazo in Plymouth Township, Michigan, and arrested him on October 14, 2024. In September 2025, both Carlos Hernandez and Joshua Zuazo went on trial in connection with the attack on the Murray family. On October 3, 2025, the jury found both men guilty.
Count 1, first-degree felony murder. Guilty as charged of first-degree felony murder. Count 2, unlawful imprisonment, guilty as charged. Count 3, unlawful imprisonment, guilty as charged.
They were charged with felony murder and 2 counts of unlawful imprisonment. Sentencing is scheduled for December 9th. They face life in prison on the murder charge and up to 15 years on each of the unlawful imprisonment charges. It began on September 22nd, 2025, in East Point, Michigan. A girl was walking near a neighborhood sidewalk when she suddenly disappeared. Investigators say she was taken to a nearby home belonging to 52-year-old Andrew Logan Williams, a registered sex offender. The girl later managed to escape and immediately found help. Police were notified, and an investigation launched into what had happened to her. Before officers could locate him, Williams left Michigan and traveled to New York. Authorities put out an alert, and with the help of police out of state, he was arrested the very next day and extradited back to Michigan to face charges. On October 6, 2025, Williams appeared in court for his arraignment. He was formally charged with first and second-degree criminal sexual conduct involving a child under 13, kidnapping, and sexually abusive commercial activity, along with a habitual offender enhancement because of past convictions. Williams' attorney entered a not guilty plea on his behalf.
Very good. What is your name, sir?
Andrew Williams.
Very good. Mr. Gerlach, what is the preliminary matter?
Your Honor, I've been provided with a requested notice for film and electronic media coverage of court proceedings submitted by WXYZ TV and a Daniel Frazier. I certainly do not object to the participation of any media in the courtroom, but the recording and filming of thereof and the retransmission of it unnecessarily taints a potential jury pool for Mr. Williams and paints him in a drastically bad or difficult position when in fact he is presumed innocent and he remains innocent at all times during these proceedings. I see no purpose other than a salacious story in having these matters filmed and presented to the public.
On behalf of the people?
Your Honor, we leave it to your discretion to determine that.
Michigan law presumes open proceedings. This case does involve a child at the age of 12, so I'm going to order that the media not use her name or any likelihood or likeness of the child, but I am going to, for purposes of arraignment, allow the media to be present, noting your objection, Mr. Gerlach. Now, with regard to the arraignment, how does your client wish to proceed?
Your Honor, after discussing each of the charges with my client, he indicates to me that he fully understands and appreciates the charges as well as the possible penalties associated with the charges. My client's authorized me to have him stand moot or wait formal arraignment, stand moot, and we will ask the court to enter a not guilty plea on Mr. Williams' behalf. I would also request that he be assigned an attorney.
Thank you. Very good. The defendant is charged with criminal sexual conduct first degree with a victim under the age of 13 in violation of MCL 750-520B1A. Count 2, criminal sexual conduct in the second degree, victim under the age of 13 in violation of MCL 750.520C1A. Count 3, kidnapping in violation of MCL 750-349. Count 4, use of commercial activity, MCL 750-145C2, and there's a habitual third notice. This offense alleged to have occurred on September 22nd. Mr. Gerlach, your client is cloaked with the presumption of innocence, as is his constitutional right. With regard to bond, I will go ahead and enter a not guilty plea, appoint an attorney to represent your client, and set the probable cause conference for October 15th at 1 o'clock. Preliminary examination will be on October 22nd at 1 o'clock. As to bond, on behalf of the people.
Thank you, Judge. People are asking for a $3 million cash surety only bond with no 10%, Your Honor. We're also asking for home confinement with a steel cuff tether if he is able to make bond. You know, we have 3 concerns First of all, that he is a danger to the community. As the court has previously stated, this victim is under the age of Your Honor, the defendant has admitted to grooming behavior with this young girl. Your Honor, he also has prior conviction from Wyoming back in the 90s. He is on the Michigan Sex Offender Registry currently. The people are concerned also that he is a flight risk. Immediately after this crime occurred on September 22nd, 2025, the defendant fled to New York State. He was apprehended the very next day due to excellent police work by the East Point Police Department and the local authorities. They were able to capture him very quickly. He was extradited back from New York and got back into town, into East Point, Your Honor, on Friday. People are aware that he does have family members in New York. We are concerned about future flights to New York or other states that he may have connections to. Finally, Your Honor, there is a high likelihood of convictions. Counts 1 and 2, Your Honor, are both CSC in the first degree. They carry a mandatory minimum of 25 years. Since they occurred at the same time, Your Honor, they can run consecutively. So he is looking at a possibility for mandatory 50 years in the Michigan Department of Corrections. He has confessed to both of those crimes, also to taking pictures of this 12-year-old girl after he was done sexually assaulting her. So the people believe that there is a high likelihood of conviction. Based upon those 3 factors, Your Honor, we are asking for a $3 million cash surety, no 10% bond. Thank you.
Mr. Gerlach, on behalf of Mr. Williams.
Your Honor, I think the facts and circumstances regarding the issues and factors that the court needs to address regarding bond are within the court's file and have been presented to the court. My client denies fleeing the state with any knowledge of these crimes having been charged against him, denies having made any valid confession or confession at all. And with that, I leave it to the discretion of the court to set the terms and conditions of bond.
Thank you. Under Michigan Court Rule 6.106, the court is to consider the seriousness of the offense, protection of the public, defendant's prior record, probability appearance, and any other factors bearing on risk or non-appearance or danger. The court finds the current charges are violent and predatory in nature, involving a child under the age of 13. Defendant's prior convictions involve similar sexual offenses against minor out of Wyoming. Defendant's habitual status and potential for a life sentence creates a strong incentive to flee. The protection of public, particularly where children, is a paramount concern. There is no condition of release that would reasonably ensure community safety or the defendant's appearance. For those reasons, I am not going to be giving him a bond under MCR 2.106B1B. We'll see you back here on October 15th at 1 o'clock for the probable cause conference, and that concludes this matter for today.
During the hearing, prosecutors described him as a serious public safety risk. They noted that he already had a history of similar offenses and argued that the quick attempt to leave the state showed he might try to run again. They warned the judge that letting him out on bond could endanger others. Judge Kathleen Galen agreed with the prosecution. She ruled that no release conditions could guarantee community safety and ordered that Williams be held without bond as his case moves forward. The next steps were scheduled: a probable cause conference on October 15th and a preliminary examination on October 22nd, where more details and evidence would be reviewed in court. Big thanks to our viewers for joining the courtroom journey with us. Your interest in the stories of justice is what keeps our channel alive.